Mental multiplication. To learn mental multiplication, you must know about factors. The factors of a number are the numbers that it can be divided exactly by. The number 8 can be divided exactly by 1, 2, 4, and 8. So the factors of 8 are only 1, 2, 4, and 8. How about the factors of 40? It can be divided with 1, 2, 20, 4, 10, 5, and 8. Stop listing when the numbers start to repeat. So you already have 5 and 8, so you don't need this. So the factors are 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 20, and 40. These are factors. How about 49? What are the factors of 49? 49 can be divided with 1, 49, 7. So that means the factors of 49 are 1, 7, and 49. Remember, when writing factors, you do not write the same number twice. Just write it once. Next to page 225, list the factors of 60. Remember to stop listing the numbers when the numbers start to repeat. 1, 60, 2, 30, 3, 20, 4, 15, 5, 12, 6, and then 10. So that are the factors of 60. Look at the envelope. It has an area of 72 centimeters square. So the area is all of this. That's an area of the envelope. Find all the possible dimensions of the envelope. The possible number for this and the possible number for this. That means we have to find the factors of 72. These are the factors. So the possible length are these, and then the possible breadth are these. Next to page 226, multiplying using factors. So you can break the factor apart. From 40, the factors are 4 and 10. So from knowing the factors, you can multiply the numbers one by one. So for example, 6 times 4 is 24, and then times 10. 24 times 10 is 240. So you can find the easiest factor to multiply. 6 times 400, you can multiply 6 with 4 first, it's 24, and then you can multiply it with 100. And then you get the final result, 2400. The same here, 8 times 9, 72, and then times it with 100. Next page to page 227. Try multiplying these numbers mentally. Here is another example, and here is another way to find the product of 6 times 30. You can divide it first if you like. 6 is 2 times 3. So 2 times 3 times 30, it equals the same. You can find whatever method that is easier for you to understand. Continue to page 228. Multiplying 400 times 8. So you multiply the 4 and the 8, and then multiply it with 100. Now try this. Multiply these numbers mentally by breaking one of the numbers into factors and then doubling. So for example, this 4 is equal to 2 times 2. So you can double this. 70 times 2 is 140, and then double it again. 140 times 2 is 280. Try this without using calculator or counting paper. Next to page 229, multiplying by 25. Remember that 25 is a quarter of 100. So that means 425 is 100. So 225 is 50. That means if you remember 25 is 1/4 of 100, you can multiply the number with 100 first and then divide it with 4. Because 25 is 1/4 of 100. So it's easier to multiply with 100. In this case, 16. 16 times 100 is 1600. Divided with 4. 16 divided with 4 is 4. So it's 400. Here is another example, multiplying 48 by 25. You can make this into 100 first, but remember that to get 100, you need to multiply this with 4. That means after you turn this into 100, 48 times 100, this, you divide it again with 4. So 4,800 divided by 4 is 1,200. Now this, multiply this with this. You can multiply 12 with 100 and then divide the result with 4. So 12 times 100 is 1,200 divided with 4. Same over here. Try without using calculator or counting paper. Next to page 230, multiplying near 20. If you see a number that is near 20, you can make this into 20, but remember the multiplication. 19 times 4 is 19 groups of 4. So when you make it into 20, you add another group. So when you make this 20, you have 20 groups of 14, because it's the same as 19 groups of 14, or 19 times 14 plus 1 times 14. So you can add this first, because multiplying 20 plus 14 can be easier. When you multiply 14 with 20, you get 280. But remember, you borrowed 1 times 14. The number that you borrowed is not only 1, but 1 times 14. 1 times 14 is 14. So the final result, you minus with the number that you borrowed. In this case, minus 14. So 280 minus 14 equals 280 minus 10 and minus 4. The result is 266. Over here, you multiplying 21 with 14. In this case, you minus 14, or you minus 1 times 14. So you get 21 groups of 14. First, you separate 20 groups of 14, and you have another 1 group of 14. So you can multiply this first. 14 times 20 is 280. And then you add the other group that you separate. 280 plus 14 is 294. Next page, 231. Another example. You separate the 34 times 1. Over here, 1 times 34, and then 20 times 34. And then you minus the result later. Now, another example, multiplying 21 with 34. Remember to separate 20 times 34, and then 1 times 34. 34 times 2, and then add the 0 later. So you get 680, and then you add 34. The result is 714. Try this. First, on A, use the steps, and on B, try multiplying. You don't need to write the steps, but try to multiply it without using calculator or counting paper. Next, I will skip page 232 and 233. We go straight to page 234. Square numbers. Square numbers is usually used in areas, or sometimes they call power of. In this case, the power of 2, that's square. 1 by the power of 2 is 1 times 1 is equals 1. 2 by the power of 2 is 2 times 2 equals 4. And 3 by the power of 2, and so on. So square, or the power of 2, is multiplying this number with itself. So if you have 4, 4 square, 4 times 4. You have 5, 5 square, 5 times 5. So the numbers 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25 are square numbers. Remember, when you multiply a number by itself, you get a square number. Next, to page 235, try to find the square numbers from 6 to 10. That means 6 times 6, 7 times 7, 8 times 8, 9 times 9, and 10 times 10. Write it down here without using calculator or counting paper. I will skip on your own and go to page 236. This is a list to help you with the multiplication and division facts. Try to at least memorize the single-digit multiplication and division. The same on page 237. This table is to help you with the multiplication and division of single digits. And over here, the multiplication and division of tens. Next to page 238. Now this time it's multiples. Multiples of 6. These are called the multiples of 6. So 6, 12, 18, and 24 are the first 4 multiples of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 multiples. What is the fifth multiple of 6? The fifth multiple is this one. 4 or 5 times 6 equals 30. Next to page 239. Multiples of 7. What is the ninth multiple of 7? Here it is, the ninth multiple of 7. And then multiples of 8. Continue to page 240. You see multiples of 9. Next, on page 241, you can also find the multiples of 10 to find multiples of 9. Again, this is just a recommendation method, meaning you can use this way or you can use your own way. You can remember or memorize the multiples of 9 instead of using this method. Next to page 241, try this. What are the first 5 multiples of 7? That means you need 5 multiples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what is the 8th multiples of 7? The 8th multiple is 7 times 8. Is 72 a multiple of 8? If yes, why? If not, why? And then also answer this. Another way to ask this is, can you divide 72 with 8? You can answer yes, because 72 can be divided by 8 without leaving a remainder. Or you can say 72 is divisible by 8. Try to answer number 3. Is 89 can be divided by 9 without leaving a remainder? Answer and give your explanation. Next page to page 242. Mental division. Look at the following numbers. Which of these numbers can be divided exactly by 2 without leaving a remainder? A number can be divided exactly by 2 when its last digit is even. So these numbers are divisible by 2. A number is divisible by another number if it can be divided exactly by that number without leaving a remainder. So in this case, these numbers can be divided by 2 without leaving any remainder. Which of the numbers below are divisible by 5? A number is divisible by 5 if it is a multiple of 5. Multiples of 5 always end with the digit 5 or 0. So these numbers, look at the last digit, 5 or 0. So that means these numbers are divisible by 5. Next, page 243. Look at the following set of numbers. A number is always divisible by 10 when its last digit is 0. And a number is always divisible by 100 when its last 2 digits are 0. So this number can be divided by 10. This number can be divided by 10 and can be divided by 100. These are the numbers that can be divided by 10 or divisible by 10, and these numbers are divisible by 100. We can use the divisibility rule to test if a number is divisible by another number. The table below shows the divisibility rules for numbers 2, 5, 10, and 100. So the numbers that can be divided by 2, the last digit have to be even. These are the example of the numbers that are divisible by 2. Next, the numbers that is divisible by 5, the last digit must be 0 or 5. These are the examples. And then number 10, the last digit must be 0, and 100. The last 2 digits must be 0. These are the examples. Next to page 244, circle the answers. Numbers that are divisible by 2, remember they are even numbers. So which are the even numbers? You circle them. And then the numbers that are divisible by both 5 and 10. So for example, this can be divided by 5 and 10. But what about this number? This number can be divided by 5, but not by 10. So do not circle this, because the number have to be divisible by 5 and 10. And number 3, The numbers must be divisible by both 5 and 100. Which are the numbers? Try it by yourself, without using calculator or counting paper. Okay, that is all. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.